Oh. Alright, first of all, sorry, I know there is no depth in this shot, but I wanted to sit on the couch for once. It's cold, it's the Australian winter, and my heater is over there and keeps me more warm than on the other side of my room. Just a quick video about the em10 Mark II, because I'm gonna give it to another coworker tomorrow, because it's such a pretty camera. I only played for it for a couple of weeks. I'm still working my way up to an em1 Mark II or 3, or hopefully even an OM1. That would be the camera I would like to go for. Of course, if there's an OM1 Mark II for a reasonable price, for the same price as an OM1, I would take that over any of the other models. But realistically, I think I should probably get the em1 Mark II and be good with that. But obviously, stacked sensor and stuff like that is very nice. That would actually be a significant upgrade, I think. And the 10-bit video, obviously I would benefit from that a lot. But yeah, this camera was as nice as the em5 in different ways. In some ways better, in some ways obviously worse, as it being the entry model. But overall, I would say this is still an amazing camera, an amazing beginner-friendly camera too. First, body specific wise, I would say little pop-up flash, really cool. Fun to have, fun to play with. Obviously it's being quite a bit smaller than the em5, not weather sealed, which is not ideal, of course, but for a camera like this, not a big deal, because you know what you're buying it for. I enjoy this tilt out screen obviously much more for just photography, but I see why people would enjoy the tilt screen more than this. But for me, this was perfect. I even like the top dials a little bit better on this one. They're a bit more recessed, while on the em5 Mark II it was further out, and sometimes I bumped them accidentally. With this one, I don't think that has happened. I miss though the more function buttons than the em5. That was cooler, especially all for the computational photography stuff. I think it's pretty much the same sensor. You know, the em5 had better autofocus. I think already had face detect, while this one didn't have face detect yet, and just contrast. You know, it was not horrible by any means. You just had to wait a little longer, maybe. And what I found out, when it took longer to acquire the focus, but if you shot, like if you half pressed, it took a while to acquire the focus, and then full press, it got it usually. But if you like half pressed, full pressed right away, it will fire. The battery life is significantly better than on the OM5. I'm not too sure if that's because it's a smaller camera overall and possibly a lesser EVF and monitor, or a processor that just uses less energy. But yeah, the battery life is significantly better. Also, the OM5 battery might have been just a very old, well-used battery, while those ones are a bit better. I like the shutter sound, is so satisfying with both of those OM cameras. No, it's there, but it's still dampened. I don't know, it's just like a really nice system. The lever which changed the functions of those two dials and all the buttons basically is missing on this one, which is a shame, because with the em5 you could easily switch between changing ISO with your top dial or with your back dial, and that made shooting quite a bit faster if you're in manual mode, while in this one you would have to go to your quick menu, select ISO and then change it there. But yeah, I mean, usually I shot this in aperture priority and exposed with only one dial, mostly with a compensation button, depending on what I wanted to shoot, and of course with the top dial I changed my aperture. I even shot some surfing and some waves with it, with 40 to 150, which surprisingly worked quite well, and this being so small, and obviously I mean, it's the same kind of grip as the em10ii, it's just the overall size is smaller. And yeah, it was still working quite well. And yeah, I kept keepers. And even if the autofocus didn't acquire something or really struggled, you could pop it into manual focus, and with the EVF, you still could get a shot quite easily. I didn't play much with the computational stuff with this camera, because I did not want to use it for this. Well, it's not because I didn't want to, just didn't require it. I used it mostly just for some street shooting and some landscape stuff in the morning, checking the surf. And I had it on the passenger seat of my car most of the time, which is something I don't do with many cameras. And just with this 12 to 40, you get such a nice reach that you could take fairly lovely pictures right out of the car, when you were stopping, of course. It still has the function buttons. I had no issues with overheating or anything. I had no issues with the lesser build quality. I still think it's nicer than a lot of other cameras. Like for their base model, it's still ridiculous what you're getting build quality wise and handling wise and feature wise too. I mean, it still has IBIS. You still can go quite low with your shutter speed. At night you can compensate for the smaller sensor quite well. And yeah, all the buttons are welled out nicely. Nothing is cramped. Nothing is unnecessary, really. It works perfectly well. It's a great beginner camera, or even a pro camera. That's the thing. You can, with this one, you can still do anything the em10ii can do, except taking it out in harsher conditions, and you will have less computational stuff or computational features. Video-wise, obviously 1080p max with weird bit rates, quite hard to find the right settings there. You still can shoot it in a pinch, and with the IBIS it's probably still gonna look more steady than most A7 III footage. But yeah, to get your shallow depth of field, you gotta work a little bit more or invest in some nicer glass, which luckily I have with this 12 to 40 and the 50 to 140. 40 to 150. Just something else. Yeah, it's a fun camera with a smaller lens. It actually is right here. The 25 Panasonic Leica 1.4. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's so small. This fits actually in my hoodie pocket and my jacket pocket. Not super well, but it does. But also, like, putting this around your arm, you can shoot like this all night long without complaining. Or you put it around your neck and just have it dangling there, and it's gonna be fine. Yeah, with a little flash, even at night, you can get some unique shots and channel your inner Bruce Gilden, if you like, which that's fun to do sometimes. yeah, I hope when I move up to the em1, I will not be disappointed with having a larger camera again. Yeah, see how that goes. Well, for now, I have 3 Micro Four Thirds lenses, but no body, and then I will be shooting only on the Panasonic S9 for quite a while. Not quite a while, hopefully not for that long. But yeah, this is a great camera, and I'm sad to see it go, but I'm happy that my co-workers and friends will have a great starter kit without breaking their bank. And hopefully they're gonna get into it and will shoot more, or might become the next famous photographer, or will document some cool stuff and enjoy looking back on their holidays in years past. Which, yeah, that would be good enough. It doesn't have to be the amazing documentary image, seeing something that has never been documented before. Maybe it's just for them, maybe it's for their personal stuff. They're both quite young, and when they get older and look back on their travels, hopefully the better quality of the camera over the phone will make them reminisce more. And as I said, Micro Four Thirds lenses are tiny, are small, they're very cheap around here. This one has mold inside, but kind of gives it a nice touch as well. If you point it in the light, you can see some funky flares sometimes, which I believe are might be the reason of that mold. What's it doing now? It's like, it's going crazy, the exposure. It changes the shutter speed. That's why it's so loud. It's interesting.